I really feel like the tone of Mists of Pandaria is very different than every other expansion that we have done. So I'm really excited about the adventure, really excited about the exploration, I'm really excited about the new land that we've created, and the kind of the resource grab that we're setting up for the Alliance and Horde to kind of come to this new land, come to this new world, grab resources to help fuel your war machine. We're also introducing the Monk, which is a new class, and the Pandaria, a new playable race for players. That is the first race that we've ever introduced that can either go either Alliance or Horde, depending on what their particular passion is.
With the Monk, we've seen an evolution in not only their abilities and the actual mechanics of each ability, but also in terms of their resource system. Before we had talked about having this idea of chi and light and dark force, but that ended up being more complex than was actually necessary. We looked at the way that we were actually playing the character and realized that the higher complexity of the resource system wasn't actually doing anything to complement those abilities. It was actually just kind of giving you less freedom about how to play the character. So we simplified the abilities, not the ability system, but the resource system somewhat, to make sure that the abilities were really what shines through and make sure that those are what makes the character very defining.
I think the new land is some of the best looking stuff we've ever done. It's a warm, lush, inviting kind of place, as opposed to, an alien world like with Outland, or a destroyed world like we had with Cataclysm. So I really feel like it's going to be a very different thing for players to experience and go kind of with a bit of a sense of wonder, a bit of a sense of mystery, a bit of a sense of excitement about what is this new place and what is it all about.
There are a lot of things about Mists of Pandaria that really increase the level of depth that this expansion has, and that was a major goal for us going into it. Not only is that the case in the level of experience, where not only will you do quests, but be able to complement that with scenarios, but also the reputations that go along with questing are also much more highly developed than we've ever done in the past. We have a combination of different reputations that all have their own kind of feel to them. They all have their own sorts of gameplay mechanics. If you look at the Golden Lotus, it's a lot more like the Molten Front was in patch 4.2. But that's only one element of the different reputations out there. We also have the Tillers, which give you the opportunity to do some farming kind of gameplay. We have the Shadow Pan, which you'll be able to get together with them to really fight off the Shah. You'll be able to do a progression of different daily quests along with them. You have the August Celestials, which send you out to the different temples, and it's a random different temple every day, so that your daily gameplay with those guys changes up quite a bit. So on the max level type of questing, there's just so much more to do, so much more going on than we've ever had in any expansion in the past. There's the pet battles that we've had these pets in the game since the game launched for 7 years now, and really this gives us the opportunity to add some gameplay to the different pets, so that if you've done your raids, you've done your dungeons, you've done your daily quests, battlegrounds, arenas, whatever it is, and you're just looking for a way to spend some time in the world of Warcraft and entertain yourself while you're socializing with your friends or whatever, going out there and leveling up your pets is an awesome way to do that. And then finally, we kind of cap it off with the challenge modes, which introduce the concept of competitive PvE. And in a sense, we've already had competitive PvE if you look at people trying to get world first with raiding, that sort of thing, but never really on the dungeon level. And the dungeon level is very important because it allows you to do it in this kind of 5-player sort of form, and also the competitiveness is on a realm level, not like across worlds and all that sort of thing. So it allows players to really get together and have some very achievable, tangible progression of goals in terms of being able to run the dungeon more and more effectively. And it's not just about outgearing the dungeon or something like that. It's really about how well you execute in that dungeon, how well you play alongside with your friends. That really helps determine how successful you are in that system.
I think for the last 3 expansions, what we've done is we've really had a focus on a huge, ominous evil that was bent on destroying all life, or conquering the world, or eliminating magic, whatever the idea was for how that person was going to be, or how that monster guy was going to be successful in his quest to kind of take over. We don't really have that theme this time around. There's still going to be bosses, there's going to be plenty of stuff for people to fight, but the tone of this expansion is considerably different, and it's much more toward the exploration and the adventure and the kind of the adventuresome spirit that the Pandarian have for all the races.
I would say from a story development standpoint, the biggest change is the introduction of the scenarios feature, because not only does that provide, of course, a new way to play the game, but it also actually provides us a way to go into more depth in any given part of the storyline than we're ordinarily able to do so. Because what we do is we actually take the types of places that you would normally be questing in as a solo player, but we can carve those out and create an instant scenario out of them that allows us to do more with the story than we otherwise would have been able to do, because it allows us to create group content, it allows us to instance the event, which makes sure that there aren't weird conflicts between different players doing different parts of it at different times.
I think it definitely has been the most challenging expansion that we've ever done. We've really kind of had a formula with regard to story and the fact that there is some kind of ominous evil and how that evil is going to work, and we really know how to do that. Coming into a new thing, we're adding all these different types of tie-in content systems, all these different type of gameplay modes for players to enjoy, along at the same time with, hey, we're doing this new story thing that is very different than anything we've ever done. It's definitely provided a lot of challenges for our guys and a lot of sleepless nights.
I would say that without a doubt, creating a new character class, particularly one that has its own resource system, is probably one of the most challenging things that we ever do as a team. It is very easy to really break the game or just really do damage to the game if we don't do it very carefully and do it well. So it's important for us to put a lot of time and effort and energy into making sure we get that as good as we possibly can. But with the monk itself, its general vibe is as a kind of fast-moving, highly mobile melee character that uses a lot of different sorts of kung fu moves like punches and kicks in order to do its damage or control opponents. There's a lot of freedom in the movement for the monk, and that's one of the important things that we're focusing on in developing this character.